about the no, yes, about the training for the demand forecasting. And in this, to be conducted in this project, the project for capacity building for bus operation policy and management in Nairobi metropolitan area. Then here is I prepared 2 lectures, and the first part is to set the target year and the socio-economic framework for demand forecasting. This is as a part of a demand forecasting works. So this lecture, for these lectures, I suppose that every participants have some knowledge about the demand forecastings. However, if you have any question or some points for unclear for you, you can interrupt and give some questions. Of course, later is okay. Here we go. This is just a 10 pages, small, very short presentations. So that please let me go on. This page shows the step to develop a demand forecasting model from the person trip survey result. You know, the person trip survey is conducted for a few percent of the populations. In this city, 1%. To expand the person trip survey data. Yes. And of course, the person trip survey, sampled survey must be expanded to represent the whole city traffic movement. To expand the person trip survey data, socio-economic framework, including the populations and employments and students and vehicle ownerships, must be utilized. Additionally, to expand person trip survey data, some supplementary traffic surveys, including the screen line surveys and the cordon line survey, must be conducted. And these issues will be expanded in the next lectures in today. Based on the traffic demand and socio-economic framework in the metropolitan area, transport demand model can be developed. Yes. Don't be afraid about such a complicated figure. And the socio-economic framework should be developed not only for the base year informations, but also for the future target year. The transport demand model will be utilized to develop future transport demand as the input. Future socio-economic framework, including the population, employment, and student, is how many in the 2013, 2045, 2050 must be developed. I mean, for demand forecasting, the future socio-economic framework should be developed. If the existing and future socio-economic informations are inappropriate, of course, the output, the traffic demand, and the traffic volumes in the future year must be wrong. This is so the socio-economic framework is an essential part of the demand forecasting. So, but this issues is not so discussed in the transport figure because this is a field of the urban planning field. So these issues must be clearly discussed, and the knowledge and the definition must be shared among each other. Then let me visualize the relationship between the socio-economic framework and the traffic demand forecast. In the populated zones, more traffic demand can be expected. You know, according to the vehicle ownership rates, the population by vehicle ownership are estimated. And the number of trips by travel modes are also estimated. And you can see there, for example, there is 100 populations and 40 car owners and 30 motorcycle owners and 30 non-owners. Among them, their modal share, how many percent is by the private car and how many percent by the boda boda or taxi and how many percent is public transport, bus transport, must be different among the vehicle ownerships. And these traffic volumes are summarized. So the number of trips by transport mode can be estimated. And through the load factor, meaning the average occupancy rate by vehicles, the traffic demand are converted into the vehicle-based trips. And these traffic volumes will be assigned to the city hall transport network. As a result, the traffic condition is assessed through the demand forecasting work. Then, here is I prepared some exercise. I would like you to answer the question via the Google form. The person already registered in our Google Classroom. You can fill in the form from this the page. When you develop the transport demand model, what kind of socio-economic framework is supposed to be related? Yes, there is a trip generation, meaning the trips going out from the zone, and the trip attractions, the number of trips come to this zone. Yes. Then you can see now. Now are you seeing some Google Forms questionnaire form? Samuel, yes.
I think you can direct people to open the WhatsApp and or maybe share the link to the chat button.
Okay, and actually, I would like you to anyway I would like you to fill in the answer. However, here is this is the answers showing this one. You know, the trip generations is trips come from the trip going out from the zone. Yes. As a result, then for example, in the two home trips and the populations, high populations, the zones with high populations at the daytime, it can be supposed there are so many trip generation to home. It's a little bit unclear for you. However, you can compare about one zone at two zones at CBD and suburban. Yes. And when you compare and the trip generation to home is supposed higher in the CBD zone because there are so many people is coming to work. It's in the nighttime and when they are going out from the CBD to go into their home. As a result, and the zones with their high populations at the daytime and their high trip generations to home is expected. On the other hand, it's two work trips and the high trip generations is expected at the zone where the high number of workers at the night. And high zones with high trip attraction to works, the zones, it is a zone that there are high number of workers at the daytimes. Yes, this is a CBD. Yes, this zone can be expected as a CBD. So that's why the two work trips is highly considered, highly supposed. And the student is also nighttime and daytime students. And the business trips is a little bit unique. And because the business trip is made from the CBD and CBD also. Business area and business area can be supposed to be completed within the business area. As a result, and this is highly related to the number of workers at the daytime, for both of the trip generation and the trip attractions. Yes, let me review the traffic demand, actual traffic demand models developed in the new plan in 2013. From the regression model analysis about the socio-economic framework and the actual traffic demand based on the new plan person trip survey. And the socio-economic framework that were highly correlated with the travel demand by purpose are examined. And as a result, for the two home trip generations and the number of workers at the office base and the students at enrollment base is shown the very high correlations. As a result, this both two values can be estimated as daytime populations. That's why I said the trip generations to home is highly correlated, highly related with the population at the daytime. And from these pages, I would like to report the current progress to correct the socio-economic framework in this Nairobi metropolitan area. Tentatively, the study area is classified into 21 urban cluster and 4 categories: CBD, inner cluster, and suburban cluster, and adjoining counties clusters. This is tentatively done by me. I'm finding the population distributions by the minimum administration boundary, However, at this moment, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, doesn't share the information with us. As the alternative, I refer the open source data, population distribution data from the World Population Database. Based on this information, this table shows the population distributions by the cluster I roughly estimated. You can see, in terms of the population density, some inner clusters are more densely populated than CBD because, as I said, so many people is commuting from the suburban area to CBD because the CBD is mainly used for the office floors. So the nighttime populations, this figure shows the nighttime populations is population density is much higher in the some cluster, in inner cluster or suburban cluster, one of the suburban cluster. West suburban cluster meanings around here. Yes, on the Gong Road line, Gong Road. But that's why the BRT is highly expected by the citizens and the city. For the future population in Nairobi metropolitan area, we can refer the projection by census study in 2019. According to the projection, the population in Nairobi city will be nearly 66 million and the nearly 9 million for the Nairobi metropolitan level in 2045. Is the projected value suitable for the future population of demand forecasting? In the near future, I would like to get the agreement with the counterpart because this value is, I can't ensure the suitability of this demand for the forecasting. Additionally, how to distribute the projected population into zones. These issues also should be discussed with the counterpart. When I visited the Kiambu County, they say that there is no spatial development plan. So after we finalize, draftly finalize a socio-economic framework in the base year and future target years by cluster level, we will submit this figure and discuss with the value with the CB as counterpart. Because this socioeconomic framework is a very, very important input for the demand forecasting. So the traffic demand forecasting results is depend on this socioeconomic framework. So the very, very clear discussions must be required. In addition to the population, other indicators, including the employees and students, should be developed. Unfortunately, there is no information about such indicators, and we would like to utilize the data in person trip survey in 2013. But as you know, the person trip data was very old, and calibration by some complementary data are necessary. The required data includes the employment rate by county and school enrollment rate by the county or some area. If you have the number of students by school, it can be utilized. If you have any opinion about how to collect the informations, I would like to welcome from your input. The last part, as I already explained, the vehicle ownership information is also necessary. Also, NTSA proudly declared that they own the related informations. But as of today, there is no any input from them, so I'm still waiting their favorable informations for us. And you can currently, this table shows the estimated value from the new plan study. As of 2013, the number of motorcycles per 1,000 population is nearly 18, very small values. However, the car is more than 115. This values is similar to the values in the Metro Manila, yes, capital city of Philippines. And I have visited the Metro Manila cities, and the traffic congestion is considered as a very important social problems. However, according to my observations, Nairobi city is not so congested as Metro Manila. So that I'm not sure that this value is correct or not. So that's why the very strict values in terms of the registered number of private vehicles is very important as an input for the demand forecasting work. So that I'm still waiting about how to collect the informations. Okay, that's all for my first part. And I would like you to go to the next part. However, if you have any question to be clarified at this moment, I would like you to ask me. Thank you. お、6人目が回答してくれてるよ。ウィニーさん、いい点数。Yes。はい。ジョンゲさん Yes。
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's about the population. I don't know whether I heard you correctly, because you talked of the population in 2045 in the Nairobi Metro being 9 million.
This area shows that among this boundary, not the whole Nairobi metropolitan area, including the whole area of the adjoining county. So sorry for the very unclear explanations.
Thank you.
Can we go to the next topics?